What is up, Kings and Queens family? Welcome to episode 4. Episode 4. Right now, we have a special guest on this episode, and I hope everyone is having a blessed and phenomenal day. And right now, I just want to introduce to you guys to one of my friends. He goes by the name of Mr. Bobby Akinboro. How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It's good to be here.
Hey, oh God, how you did?
Hey, we did.
Nice, bro. So first of all, tell the Kings and Queens fam where you're from, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm from Lagos, Nigeria, born and raised. From Lagos, moved to Dallas, Texas, and then from Dallas, Texas, now I live in Seattle, Washington, and then went to school in Texas, Texas Tech, of course, and then
Okay.
Seattle from there.
Nice. So what do you do for a living right now?
For a living, as of this moment, I'm a product manager with Microsoft. I work on Microsoft's video platforms, and I help make the video experience better. I've been doing that for 2.5 years now, going on to 3,
Wow.
and it keeps me busy, keeps me focused.
Wow. And the college you said you attended, it was Texas Tech University?
Texas Tech University, go Red Raiders.
Hey, how was your experience? How was your experience at Texas Tech?
Interesting to say the least. Texas Tech was definitely eye opener for me coming from Dallas. Dallas is a very mixed city as far as diversity goes, and as far as diversity of thought as well. Whereas Texas Tech is a lot more black and white in terms of thoughts, and not in terms of race. And so Texas Tech definitely made me question a lot of my previous beliefs and further solidified some of my other ones. It was definitely an enlightening experience. I wouldn't trade my college experience for the world.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So I know. Right now, you said you work with Microsoft.
Yep.
And I also see you do photography, DJing. Basically entrepreneur. So what I really want to do, I want to individually touch base on all of those specific skill sets that you do.
Okay.
And so first off, let's start with your major. What major did you do in school, and how did that open the door for you into Microsoft?
Okay, so my degree was Management Information Systems, which is a College of Business degree.
Okay.
But in MIS, you take a lot of development classes, you take a lot of coding classes. You get a chance to truly understand project management at its finest. So for me, coming to Microsoft, like to get an interview at Microsoft, you have to be a good developer. So having that background from Texas Tech to learn how to develop in C# and Java and things of that nature, I was able to land the interview and further extend myself first as an intern and then as a full-time employee. The degree definitely opened up doors for me. And I think it can open up doors for anybody if you know how to really network your way into places.
Okay.
That's kind of like my background and how I got in here. I started as an intern, did 3 internships, and then came on full-time.
Wow. And you've been there for how long did you say?
So full-time, I've been here 2.5 years.
Wow, nice. And how was the transition from Dallas to Seattle?
Dallas to Seattle, I think it would have been a lot rougher if I didn't come from Lubbock. If I went straight from Dallas to Seattle, I probably would have struggled a lot more. But Lubbock definitely solidified me in who I believed I was as a person and what I believed as far as my thoughts went. So moving to Seattle, again, a lot of challenging situations going on in Seattle. So I was able to, overcome a lot of like upfront battles pretty quickly just because of the experiences I had in Lubbock. But Seattle is definitely still something that you never really fully adjust to. It's something that you consistently, take really on a day-by-day basis, from anything from the weather to the people to the culture. Every day is something different and something new.
And you said in terms of going from Lubbock to Seattle, it was easier because basically you had time to work on yourself, a lot of self-development that you did at Texas Tech, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Texas Tech is definitely an incubator for self-development. It's like a hyperbolic time chamber, right? You take your time in Lubbock and you really, focus in for that 4.5 years that you're there. And then you come back out on the other side a completely different person.
Wow. And so then after that, I see you got into photography. How did that come about for you?
So the honest story is I was trying to impress a girl. Whenever I was in high school, there was this girl that I was wildly attracted to, and I wanted to impress her. She was a photographer, and so I wanted to take pictures kind of to impress her. She was a graphic designer as well. But as time progressed, I actually fell in love with graphic design and photography on my own. and wanting to learn more about it. And it was never for the money, to be very honest with you. But as I started, promoting just my art more and more people started hiring me. I remember my very first paid gig was in Lubbock at Club Groove, and they hired me every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I was working there, and I was doing their flyers as well. And literally, I would start like as a freshman in college, I was just raking in cash, from the club scene. And so I did that. I never really had a job, my first 2 years in school. I was just doing the photography and graphic design. Then I started doing videos. And so that's when the fraternity started helping me out a little bit more. They started putting me on their different things, and the different organizations around campus started using me. And literally by the time I was a junior, like I was working for fun, and all my side hustles was really what was bringing in my cash. And things, and then I got hired by the College of Business at Texas Tech to be their graphic designer, and I did that for my last 2 years. I was working a full-time job as a student, so it all kind of just naturally built just thanks to God.
Wow, yeah. Always got to give glory to God, man, for real.
For sure.
Man, that's really crazy how because I know everyone has a different story, and in terms of how you said you got into photography, even though it wasn't the way you probably planned to see yourself going into, but I mean, like you said, God has a way of working things out, and like through that way you found your passion,
Definitely.
Man, and also you said you were in a fraternity. What fraternity you're part of?
I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I came through the Crimson City chapter at Texas Tech, out of Upsilon, and actually in 2 days it'll be 5 years for me. So
wow. And would you say that fraternity also helped you, mold yourself and shape you into the person you are today?
Oh, I mean, 150%. You know what I'm saying? I can remember there were nights, my freshman year that I'd be sitting in the room with some of my bros now, like Elias and Bowell, Cobby, Anthony, you know what I'm saying? And they would be literally like, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do the work, but they had visions. You know what I'm saying? They could see what I was supposed to be doing, and they helped me understand their visions, and then they helped me make my work better. Wow. Without their mentor, I tell Ernest and Elias all the time that they're my creative inspiration.
Wow.
Like without them, especially the Crimson City chapter, like without them, I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing now, because they were the first ones to ever take a chance on me. Like at Texas Tech, the first parties I ever shot were shot through them. Although I did it for free, they still gave me the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like all the flyers I made, actually the first videos I made were also shot through them. The first party I DJ'd was done through them. You know what I'm saying? Like everything I really kind of pride myself on came from an opportunity that bros presented me back then. And I'm forever grateful to all of them. Like I think of even my LBs, like PO has been my best friend, for a decade now, right? And there's nothing that I've ever done in my life that I haven't run through PO first. Like I feel like if it doesn't have PO stamp of approval, then it's really not a go. You know what I'm saying? So no, the chapter is way more than just a fraternity. I mean, well, it is a fraternity, it's a brotherhood, but the bond goes deeper. You know what I'm saying? Blood couldn't make us any closer.
Okay, wow, man, that's awesome. And after that, you also got into DJing.
Yes.
And how was that? Because I know, having Nigerian parents. I mean, what did they say when you said you wanted to be a DJ?
Man, well, see, the thing about it, my parents weren't. First of all, I didn't start DJing until I graduated. Right. Okay. I graduated school in August of 2015, and then I started work January 2016. Okay. So that's I had like 5 months to really like just chill. And so in that 5 months, I really learned. I picked up my first set of turntables. Shout out to DJ Spoon and DJ Nightcrawler. They used to sit up with me random nights, you know what I'm saying, and just teach me everything I needed to know. And Cal Banks. And so I did that for a few months, and I was traveling as well. Okay. So I'm traveling to all these different cities, listening to all these different DJs around the country, trying to learn what they're doing and how they're doing it. And then I'd come back, to my room in my parents' house and literally just sit up all night and mix. And I send my mixes to PO, and PO tell me that they were trash. So like literally all the time, like that, I just kind of focused on it for those few months. Definitely. After that was done, I moved to Seattle, and that's when I started throwing my first parties. But keep in mind, I was already working at Microsoft. So my parents weren't bothered because I already had a check coming in.
I see.
And then Microsoft and DJing, they don't really interfere. Microsoft in the daytime, DJing's at night. Yeah. So it just kind of worked out. Actually threw my very first party that I was DJing the entire time, April of 2016. And I remember like 150 people showed up.
Wow.
And I was like, man, like I just moved to this city. I'm bringing out 150 people. Oh
Yeah.
wow, we really onto something,
Yeah.
And then now, I'm throwing parties and I'm expecting, like 510 people. You know what I'm saying, on average now.
Okay.
So within a year and a half, we've quadrupled the amount of folks coming. So
Wow.
it makes me happy, and I only hope to see it grow.
Yeah.
I only hope to see bigger and better things coming out of it. So
Amen.
yeah.
Amen. And so, do you have like a team that's built around your DJing or?
No, I do everything by myself. My
Okay.
photography, videography, graphic design, DJ. It's all solo, one man team.
Wow. And what's the brand name of your DJ?
So the brand itself is called BLASTography.
Okay.
BLASTography is a media company that houses a bunch of other subsidiaries, such as Identity Wear, which is my clothing line, and DJ Blast, which is my DJing set.
Wow. And where did the name Blastography come from?
Blastography, well, they used to call me Bobby Blast back in high school.
Okay.
I went through a plethora of nicknames, but Bobby Blast was one that stuck. And that came from football, just because I was quick, you know what I'm saying? And so my coaches called me Bobby Blast. Everyone around called Bobby Blast.
Okay.
And so Blastography was actually a Twitter name that I decided to come up with. But it was supposed to be Blastology, but it was already taken on Twitter.
Yeah.
And so Blastography just seemed to be the next best thing, and I'm just so happy that Blastology was taken because that didn't stick as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Blastography definitely sounds a lot better.
Yeah, so Blastography stayed, and I just kind of branded everything Blast after that. So DJ Blast, and the whole nine.
So could you? I just want to say, could you talk on how you were able to balance all of these skill sets you've acquired through the years? Because I know juggling all of these things could probably like take a toll. It can be difficult. So to the Kings and Queens fam listening, how were you able to balance everything?
So I think the first thing is prayer, right? Like you got to ask God for discernment. Like, what do I need to work on right now? What do I need to put on the back burner right now? Like, where does my focus need to be,
Yeah.
right? I think that's the first thing. Like, you really have to know how to prioritize.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if I have free time, quote unquote free time right now, I'm probably going to spend the majority of my time DJing because DJing is what's currently bringing, like DJing in my house, because that's currently what's bringing me money. So I need to like further extend those skills, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But if I move to a new city, right, I'll probably spend more time taking pictures because photography catches a lot more people's eyes a lot quicker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I want to establish myself, photography makes a little bit more sense because, like I can post those quickly, and like, oh, hashtag, Cali or hashtag LA or whatever the city may be that I'm
Yeah.
in. And then I can get some more references that way,
Yeah.
Everything kind of depends on where I'm at in life and what my goal is and what I want to do. Also, another big thing is making sure I'm not slacking. A lot of times whenever I'm at a point where I'm at a crossroads and I need to figure out, okay, what do I need to work on next or what do I need to work on now? I feel like the first thing is Microsoft, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what's paying my bills. That's who I am contracted to.
Yes.
And so I can never slack there, ever. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, it's okay. What all is required of me as of right now? What are my responsibilities? And is there anything I can say no to? Is there anything that I absolutely need to do? And I do that probably on a monthly basis. As I look at my calendar, staying organized is essential, just so you never miss a deadline or you never miss an event.
Yeah.
You never want that to be a situation because I believe customer experience is number one.
Okay.
Across everything. So if you miss a customer's event, you've lost that customer for life. And you probably lost all their friends too. If you're late to something or anything like that, it's just never a good look. So all in all, what's most important to me is making sure I'm on top of things so I don't end up disappointing my customers.
Wow. Wow. And you could say, like you said, time management is a big thing. And how would you go about giving some advice to someone who's trying to make sure they're more they can focus on what they have their passion for, but also if they have a job, they're able to balance the two. Like you said, I know you said you mentioned a calendar. What other things would you recommend?
Okay, so a calendar I think is number one. I
Okay.
think anybody that's really successful has a managed calendar. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? You gotta know. Okay, from 12 to 1, this is where I'm going to be. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you do that your whole day, right? If you know you're going to be at work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., if that's your work day, then just go ahead and block that out. Like, don't let anything confuse that. Like, focus on work during that time.
Okay.
Then you leave work and now you start focusing on yourself. You shouldn't be too tired at the end of the day to not focus on yourself. Somehow, some way, you got to make yourself better each and every day. The way that I tangibly figure that out is I work on my resume once a month, right? And at the end of the month, if I haven't updated something, if I haven't done something new, something cool on my resume, that means I'm slacking. You get what I'm saying? So that's like my tangible way of making sure I've leveled up monthly.
Okay.
So if you check your calendar is a little bit free. You got time, this particular evening from 7 to 9 p.m. Pick up a new skill, watch a YouTube video that'll teach you something, figure something new out, and then apply it somehow. I feel like a lot of times people make the excuse that work is too busy or is doing too much, and you make time for what you find important, And I feel like for me, I find my creative side to be just as important as my engineering side. And so I put in equally as much time after 5 p.m. as I do before 5 p.m.
Perfect, man. That's facts right there. That's facts. And, true, man. True. And out of all the different projects you do, what is your main passion? If you were to choose one, or can you choose one at all?
It's crazy. So a lot late. My pastor lately has been preaching a lot on when was the last time you let God change your plans, right?
Yeah.
And a couple months ago, I was talking to myself, and I was like, "Man, God, BLASTography, there's a lot going on. Like, I want to start focusing on something. I think, maybe I should start looking towards photography because, again, that was my first. I think, honestly, that's kind of what I'm best at. So, should I start focusing in photography? And I never forget that same day I booked 3 weddings, right, to DJ.
Yeah.
And, and that, in my mind, because first of all, I don't like weddings because they're difficult. And then number 2, I don't like DJing weddings. And that same day that I prayed that prayer, 3 wedding requests came in, And so ever since then, I'm like, man, like the only way I can truly prioritize this thing is if God tells me one way or another, and same concept, like I was asking God, okay, how should I serve in the church? And, the church was looking for photographers and graphic designers. I was like, okay, perfect. I'm going to go do that. And then I emailed my church and they never responded to me as far as graphic design and photography went.
Yeah.
But then a DJ position opened up and I didn't even have to apply. They reached out to me, and so more and more I'm like, man, I really enjoy DJing. It's really new to me. There's still a lot of learning I can do, a lot of growing I can do. And then for some reason, God just keeps pushing me in that direction too. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of that and where that goes. I don't want to be the 35-year-old, 40-year-old in the club all the time. That's not my goal. But as of right now, I'm 25. I'm still living. So like I'm trying to make the most of the position and season I'm in right now.
For sure. So that goes back to the next question that I wanted to ask you is, what are your future goals you set for yourself in terms of business, entrepreneurship? But would that kind of go back to how you said you ask God for for guidance, and he directs you into the way that he thinks is best for you.
Yeah. So currently my future goals, right? Again, I believe that God looks at our plans and He laughs at them, and He's like, "That's cute," but we're gonna let you know what's really going on. But all in all, like my goals through and through that I'm praying, for guidance and direction for. Number 1, I want to start DJing concerts. I feel like I'm at a point now. I left parties. I'm used to parties. I want to level up. I want to, I think concerts are the next way to do that. Like, I'm thinking, like major celebrities, maybe not A-list. I'm not like at a Drake level or a Beyonce level yet. But, like Amigos, like a Post Malone, something in that range. That's where my mind is at. And trying to see how I can get into that area, into that space. And then, I'm thinking of like, what's next with my work? I've been at Microsoft for 2.5 years. All my professional experiences here. So praying to God, okay, what are my next steps? Should I stay at Microsoft? Should I look somewhere else? What are those things? All in all, I'm praying to God just for clarity, because there's a lot of opportunities that present themselves. Not all opportunities are good opportunities, right?
True.
So it's really just kind of whatever He presents my way. I'm here, I'm listening, and I'm open to it. I know I'm making this super religious, but it's not meant to be that way. But that's truly how I live my life now. Everything is just kind of like as He shows me where I'm supposed to go, I kind of take those steps necessary. But one thing for sure is I'm always prepared. My resume is always up to date, so for job calls, I'm ready. the work that I do. I try to make it reflect my current like standings in all aspects. I keep my website up to date. So if you want to hire me for photos, you can just go to my website and check. If you want to hire me for DJing, you can go to my website and check. Like everything, I stay up to date. So I'm never sleeping. I'm never slacking. But in the same breath, I'm being patient and waiting and seeing what I'm supposed to do.
I like that because there's this one quote that they say, when preparation meets opportunity, that's when people say it's luck, right?
Exactly.
And that's exactly what you just explained right there. If you're always preparing yourself and you're making sure you're on top of things, you have no excuses. If the opportunity comes, you're ready. As they say, Bobby, we need you to DJ here. We need you to take pictures here. Boom, you're ready. You have your updated resume is ready to go. And that's how everybody should, like you said, everybody should stay on top of their things, stay on top of the time management, and that's how people should really live their life. Because if you're not living your life to that fullest potential and being great, then what are you living for? Because you don't want to just be existing in this world and just going day by day, just not improving, not progressing. So I like everything you just said, man. That's perfect advice to people that are listening right now.
Thank you.
Also, what kind of advice would you give someone who is looking to start their own business or even a side hustle?
If you're looking to start your own business, I think the number one piece of advice I could give you, number one piece of advice is just start.
Okay.
Like a lot of people take, years just planning or trying to get the right whatever. None of that truly matters. Like if you just start, things just kind of fall into place. Like if you can't figure out a name, right? Well, figure out what you want the brand to be. If you can't figure out if you want to do makeup and stuff like that, well, just start taking pictures and posting the makeup. Somehow, some way a name is going to come to you. You know what I'm saying? Or like whatever it may be. Like, and you can think of this in so many different aspects. If you want to be someone's personal tax accountant, like just start doing their taxes and they'll get the word out. And next thing you know, a name pops up. Like I mean, there's so many different ways to look at it, but a lot of people get stuck on one thing or another thing and just let their dream die. Like my biggest advice to you is just start.
Okay.
Like there's nothing wrong, because if you start and you fail, at least you tried. Like and you're failing forward. You're failing fast, right? It's crazy when you waste all this time in preparation and trying to do all these different things, and then you fail. Now it's like you wasted 2 years and it didn't work. But if you do it at the beginning, it's like, oh, I only lost 3 months and now I know how to pivot. So I definitely suggest that people just start, just do it. And you have to build your brand. You have to do all that's absolutely necessary. Yes, you have to figure out your market. So talk to people that have done it or are currently in the process of doing it, or are good in like the region that you want to be in. So for example, if you want to open up a makeup studio, if you want to open up a hair studio, talk to other hairdressers that are already doing that, right? And then talk to someone that works at Facebook or someone that works on search engine optimization, so they can help you. Like, so whenever you're posting on Instagram or you're posting on Twitter, they can teach you how different things will help you get more traction. Or what things help people progress a little bit further, how you'll get more clicks, like things like that. Those, now in the world we live in, all those things matter. And you don't just know those things, you got to learn them.
True.
So like I think between those two things, just starting and then getting advice from people who already know, that's kind of where you got to go.
That's a good answer. And also, let me take another route, because I know not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. It's not for everybody, and it is a good thing to be able to have your own business, all that stuff. But there's other people that just want to be great doctors, great teachers, lawyers, all that stuff. And for someone like you're in a major corporate company with Microsoft, for someone who's looking to work or become a CEO one day of a company like that, or even get into a company like that, what would you say to them in terms of them looking for jobs, building their resume? Like, what kind of advice would you have in that area?
Network.
Okay.
I think that's the number one baseline for anything and everything. If you want to go corporate, if you want to go entrepreneur, like no matter what it may be, network. Because look, the fact of the case is, I think of my father, right? My dad, he's a RN in Dallas, Texas. And I don't think I've ever seen my dad actually apply for a job.
Wow.
Keep in mind, he's an immigrant. He started as a CNA, worked his way up the chain. And I've never seen my father apply for a job because people always come and find him. right?
Yeah.
And I think to myself, like, in every single event that I've done, every single thing, like photo shoot that I've done, yeah, I did my original marketing when I first moved to Seattle,
Yeah.
but I think that lasted for maybe like 4 or 5 months. Ever since then, it's been word of mouth, right?
Okay.
You give people a good experience with you and associated with your name, your brand will sell itself. Again, your brand could be literally you as a person, or it could be your company,
Yeah.
right? And if you network with the right people, they're going to put you in the right places.
Mm.
You know, so for example, if you want to move to corporate, like if your goal is to become the CEO of Microsoft, for example,
Yeah.
you probably need to hang around the corporate vice presidents first, right?
Okay.
And if you can't make it to the corporate vice presidents, then make it to the GMs. And if you can't make it to the GMs, then you make it to the principals, right? Like you want to put yourself around people that are where you want to be. Because look, the honest fact is, if you're broke, would you hang around 7 millionaires? Somehow, some way, you're going to become the eighth,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So put yourself in a position to be around people that you want to be like, and not to use them, but to learn from them.
True.
And then just make your way on up from there.
That's true. That's true. And like you said, surrounding yourself, with like-minded people, that's really going to elevate you and make you, allow you to be on the same level, if not even higher than them, once you're around them for a certain amount of
Exactly.
time. Yeah.
Exactly.
And like,
And then
yeah.
I think goes without saying,
Hmm.
but don't ever forget the people that helped you get to where you at.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people become bougie when they make it. I think it's absolutely essential to remember those who helped you get you to where you are.
Yeah.
And that's at every stage of life. Even if you're not where you want to be, you're currently better than where you were a year ago or 2 years ago. So never forget how you got to where you are, and be forever thankful and grateful to where you're going.
Wow. Yeah. How would you invest? Because I know you talked about branding, and the branding is basically yourself as well. How you every day we're walking billboards, because
Hmm.
whoever you meet, you're going to tell that person about your who you are,
Hmm.
what you stand for. So it's really important how you carry yourself.
For sure.
So what I want to touch base on is that I know people, they carry themselves in a certain manner, um, in reality, but how would you transcend that to investing into yourself towards like social media? Because I know there are some people that act different on social media than they do in real life.
For sure.
How would how do you invest your brand or yourself into social media so people that are actually like following you can really connect with you in a way?
Okay. So I'll take that from two angles, right? Number
Okay.
one, I'm not 100% sure that everybody that follows you on social media needs to 100% know about you,
Okay.
like in full. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I feel like some people like to live a private life as
Yeah.
far as social media goes, so they only want people to see what they want them to see,
Yeah.
right? And that's for some people, and that's not for everybody. But that's an option. Now I'll talk about what I do and why I do what I do.
Okay.
Um, I used to have two social media accounts, right? I had my Blastography and I had my Bobby Akinboro.
Okay.
And for the longest, I used to try to keep those lives separate. If Microsoft needed me for something, I was Bobby Akinboro. But if I needed to do something for myself, I was Blastography, right?
Yeah.
And I realized more and more I was living two separate lives. Like I would never want my boss or my manager or whoever to come across the Blastography Twitter or the Blastography page. Like if they try
Yeah.
to Google me, it got to a point where I even took all my personal websites off of my Blastography stuff. And not that there
Wow.
was anything ever wrong with Blastography,
Yeah.
just I didn't want to come off as too cultured, for lack of better words,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And about 3 weeks ago, I deleted B. Akinboro. I deleted the Twitter, I deleted the Instagram, I deleted it all, right?
Yeah.
And now everything, if you Google me, all things that pop up are under the Blast, like, big picture, right? My
Yeah.
Instagram is under OG Blast, my Twitter is Blast. Like, everything now is under one moniker, right?
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
reason for that is because I believe you can succeed in corporate and you can succeed in personal without changing who you are as a person.
I like that. Yeah.
You don't have to put on two different faces to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wear J's to work every single day, and no one's going to tell me I'm less smart or smarter because of how I dress or how I appear,
Yeah. Facts.
right? And I refuse to believe or succumb to that frame of mind, right?
Yeah.
So I believe if you want to live a certain lifestyle on Twitter or on Instagram, first of all, make sure you can afford that lifestyle.
Okay.
right? Make sure you can actually like live the life in real life as opposed to just on pictures.
Yeah.
Number two, make sure that's who you really are. Make sure it's your genuine self, because people will catch you.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you never want to be caught slipping, because now people are judging you as a person. They're judging your character. They're questioning everything about you. And social media shouldn't be what makes people question you. They should be able to understand you a little bit better through it.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
So be true to yourself. Be humble. Be honest. Be open. If that's the route you want to go, but if you want to be private, also be true to yourself. Like, don't post don't post things that are going to make people question, I guess, your lifestyle or the way you live. You know, and it's crazy because, again, 10 years ago, we would never have a conversation about social media, but now
Yeah.
it's in the forefront, you know?
Yeah.
And so all in all, I tell people frequently, like, just whoever you post, whoever you want to be on social media, make sure that's your true and authentic self.
Hmm.
You know, don't front, don't fake the funk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you're fronting on social media, again, you'll be outed. Like, look at Bow Wow on the Bow Wow challenge, right? You know, like I think it's probably the best example of it. You know, like,
Yeah.
if you're fronting, you're gonna get put out,
Yeah.
and no one wants that. No one wants
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That is true, man. Do you have people you listen to for motivation?
that. So for motivation, a lot of times it's crazy. I start my mornings off with Michael Todd.
Okay.
Um, he he just knows how to spin the Bible in such a way that makes sense to me.
Who's Michael Todd for the people listening in?
So for the people that are listening, Michael Todd is the pastor of Transformation Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He has a YouTube channel, and he does messages weekly. And so for me, like, I don't, of course, I live in Seattle, so I don't go to the Transformation Church,
Yeah.
but on a weekly basis, actually, really, I'm catching up at this point. So on a daily basis, I'm watching the Michael Todd sermon. And something about starting my day off with God and starting it off in such a way that's uplifting and motivational kind of just gets me going.
Okay.
Uh, Outside of Michael Todd, I could watch anything. You know, more times than not, I guess because I'm a DJ, I listen to music.
Okay.
So my music can span anywhere from Sam Henshaw to Migos. You know, anywhere from Coldplay to Beyonce. Honestly, I
Yeah.
can listen to anything in the morning, and it'll put me in the frame of mind that I want to be in for the rest of the day. And I read a lot of books, right? So
Okay.
like every time I fly, probably 3 or 4 times a month, and I read a book on my going flight, and I read a book on my coming back flight, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So those are the different things I look for inspiration and motivation. And yeah, that's just kind of me.
Wow. And reading books, would you say that helps you, or would that help you in terms of self development, or is that something you just kind of do in your spare time to buy away time?
So reading books for me is more of a learning mechanism, right?
Okay.
It does help me in my self development, but for example, I don't read books. I don't read like fictional books. So all the books I read are non-fictional. And then they just like it's something that interests me. For example, I read Gucci Mane, the autobiography of Gucci Mane,
Yeah, I wanted to
and
read that too. Yeah.
it's a beautiful book. I loved it from top to bottom. And again, I have really nothing to do with Gucci, and I'm a Gucci fan, but his book didn't necessarily make me a better person.
Yeah.
But reading his book taught me a lot about life on the streets.
Hmm.
It taught me a lot about drug dealing, doing time in prison, how the beef with Jeezy started, and all those things in isolation don't really make a big difference. But when you start working with clients that have lifestyles like these, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you start working with people that have come from backgrounds like this, you have a better idea of how to interface with them.
Hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm from
Yeah.
Dallas, right? So Dallas isn't the worst hood in the United States, but it's not the best either. So I already have a sense of empathy for these clients where you read these books and you get a better insight into their lives and into the lifestyle they may have lived in the past. And I read books on both ends. Like I've read the books of Warren Buffett's son, Peter
Okay.
Buffett. I've read the books of the Magnolia family. I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad to learn about my money and how to handle it.
Yeah.
I read books that make me a better person and also help me become more relatable to other people.
Wow. 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 Yeah, and that's a good example of how you put it too. Books are for learning, but also for experiences that might you might come across in the future. And
Exactly.
'cause I know a lot of people that are especially myself. I've been trying to get into books more, and I was really focused on okay, the educational purposes. What am I going to get out of reading this book? but also you can have books that you might kind of already have an idea about it, but once you actually read it and you learn that person's experience, you never know where that's going to help you down the line, like you said. So that's a perfect representation of how to put that of reading books and how to utilize that to your advantage as well. Yes. So yeah, that's perfect, man.
Thank you.
So all right, man. Let's I'm gonna round it up here, and okay. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on to the Kings and Queens podcast.
Oh, anytime.
I just want to say, everyone listening right now, tuning in from wherever you are. I just want to say that Bobby, this guy's a jack of all trades. He definitely exemplifies what it truly means to be great, and in turn, what the Kings and Queens movement is all about. Because this is really why, like I said on the last episode, this is really why I wanted to start this podcast, is for people like Bobby to be able to get recognition for the great things that they're doing, and to also share their story and their thoughts to be able to help the next person, and life is all about helping one another and helping us grow as individuals and as humans, and like I said, so thank you for coming on again. And you have any last words you want to say to the Kings and Queens fam?
Kings and Queens, first and foremost, I want to thank y'all all for the opportunity and for listening through. I don't think I'm that interesting of a person, but if you made it this far in the podcast, I wholeheartedly want to thank you and appreciate you for hearing me out. Secondary to that, I can't go without saying this. Paying things forward is real. I think it's absolutely necessary for you to pay something that some information you've acquired forward to the next person, so that the next person behind you can do better or can be better, right? And giving is really what that boils down to. You can give of your time, you can give of your money, your resources, your influence, whatever it may be. But if you get something, and you hold on to it, you're really only hurting yourself, because now you have a closed fist. But if you get something and you give it away, now your fist is open to receive more. You know what I'm saying? So I think all in all, as I'm trying to portray in my own life of, paying things forward and giving as much as possible, I would beseech all of you to do the same, and see what ways you can pay things forward and what ways you can be a blessing to the next person.
Awesome. Facts right there. How would people be able to contact you, Bobby, if they wanted to, you have Twitter, IG, shout everything out?
Yeah, you can contact me on almost anything. My website is bobbyakinboro.com, BOBBYAKINBORO.com. And then my Twitter is BLASTography, BLASTography. My Instagram is OG Blast. My Soundcloud is BLASTography. You can find me wherever you want to. My LinkedIn is Bobby Akinboro. Literally any platform that you want to find me on, I'm probably there. Don't add me on Facebook, because that's weird. But whatever else you want to do, let's do it. I'm definitely down to connect. I love receiving messages and talking to people about, something that I've said and how I can better explain it. So if there's anything that doesn't make sense to you, definitely feel free to reach out, and I'll be as helpful as I possibly can.
Awesome, man. So guys, Kings and Queens fam, you heard it there from Mr. Bobby Akinboro himself. You heard everything that he had to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Kings and Queens podcast, episode 4. Thank you so much for tuning in, and just like that, we out.
Peace.
You're now in the mix with DJ Blast.
Blastography.
DJ Blast, what you did?
Hey, DJ Blast.